Medal of Excellence in 2020. It's a pleasure to have you here, ma'am.
So, good morning, well and all. Basically, it is a very basic topic. Before PG dissertation, I have been conducting this research proposal for PG. My basic knowledge I would like to present today. Writing research protocol, and constantly already respected Vishwanathan sir already had given a introduction. What is a group of body who are intellectuals or scholars from different department who first when you propose a they will have their comments like which are the lacuna in your proposal. They will do that, and after that you will finally do a final proposal or protocol before submitting to IC or Human Ethical Committee. IRB also saying it is another is DRB, that is Drug Regulatory Board. Whenever we want to conduct some study related to trial related to a new drug, we need to go through the expert opinion or expert consent for getting the approval, that is Drug Regulatory Board. So, what is a research protocol? A research protocol is a formal written record that one prepares before research field work is undertaken. So, clinical research conducted according to a plan or an action plan. The protocol demonstrates the guidelines for conducting the trial. Benefits allows the researchers to plan and review the project steps, serves as a guide throughout the research, forces time and budget estimates. So basically it is a planned research. It is before you conduct your planned research. There should be some guideline. Why we should have a protocol? To raise the question what it aims to be, to raise the question to be researched and clarify its importance. See, all this which I am talking, I am taking lecture from, I think all of you are known ICMR, that is Basic Course Biomedical Research, which is now mandatory for all postgraduate and the newly joined faculty. So most of my PPT are from those slides, lecture PPT. So there is no copyright agreement. It is a universal for academic purpose. Methodology required for solving the question and achieving the objectives. To discuss the requirements and limitations in achieving the objectives. Trials must be approved and monitored by an institutional review board that ensures that the fit. So it should cause no harm to the research participants. That is the main thing. That's why you need to have a review. It is an independent committee that consists of, already I have told you, it consists of various intellectual members. Whereas ethical committee is a member which is formed by a member committee chairman, secretary from outside common normal people, political people or lawyer. It constitutes of various bodies from different organizations. The committee ensures the clinical trials are ethical and that the rights of all participants are protected. The board must initially approve and periodically review the research. So what are the components? Title of the study, the administrative details. I am going to just show a template if time permits me. What is this administrative details? Who is the primary investigator, contact number, what is the qualification, and a short CV of the primary investigator. Faculty like guide, main guide with full address and CV, name of the co-guide. All this should be, administrative details should be there. Then who is the HOD? If it is if you are doing in a study in a medical college or literature review. Study objectives, study design, study population and methods of recruitment, variables list, sample size, methods of data collection tools, plan of analysis of data. See, the methodology, it in most of the things, it is otherwise called as materials and method. It has to be, I will come to in the subsequent slide, what are the headings to be covered under, I will tell in brief. Because everything in one topic is very difficult to cover. Work plan, timeline, proposed schedule, that is grand chart, you can put your project management. Strength and limitations of the study, issues for any ethical review and approval. What is the issue? Is it there is any minimal risk? There is moderate risk? Is it really very severe risk causing to the study participants? All this should be there. Issues related to ethical review And followed after certificate, you should have from your institute, that is IRC certificate is must, followed by their comments, then correction, then followed to IHC, then IHC review. IHC, if they find out some corrections, you have to do minimal corrections to get the final ethical committee certificate, and followed by which you are going to do your clinical trial registry, and followed by starting of the study. So insert in nutshell, to identify title, research Q objectives, outline one-page concept paper. In my research career, to be very truth I am telling, I have not yet designed any one-page concept paper. What is this one-page concept paper? I will just briefly describe in 1 or 2 slides, because before proposing a protocol, like complete protocol, if you have a one-page planned concept paper, it will outline the study, basically what is meant by its objectives, its sort methodology in crisp, and it should be in 1 page. It should not cross more than that. That's what I'm going to just tell. Then prepare all your dummy table, then write a draft protocol. What we used to do, we used to write directly the protocol according to the institute protocol template. We used to submit for scientific review or IRC. Then IRC will have a presentation of each postgraduate. There they will put their comments. Is the study, there is any novelty is there? Is the study is an approved study? Can the study's feasibility? All these things, the scientific intellectual committee, they will give a comment. Followed by after the draft protocol, then prepare instrument and annexes. Submitting for peer review is final with IHC, that is Institute Human Ethical Committee. So coming to concept papers, I don't know how many of us are preparing concept paper, but concept paper, if we prepare before as a guide, if I propose a topic to my student, if I prepare 1 or 2 months before a concept paper and give to my student, it will help my student to do the protocol more efficiently, I feel. But I have not yet gone through the concept paper till in my career. It has to be very frank. How many of you? What is this? Concept papers are summaries of projects or issues that reflect the interests, experience and expertise of the writer or organization. Concept papers generally serve the purpose of providing in-depth discussion of a topic that the writer has a strong position on, usually with the intent of obtaining funding for 6 steps. The 6 steps are almost same as protocol, but it has to be little short. Short introduction, background and justification, objectives, methodology, the expected benefit, reference, budget. From concept paper, first draft protocol should not exceed 2000 words. See, when we designed protocol, we didn't see these words, but now this first draft protocol, it has a word limitation. It should not cross 2000 words. This is already yesterday, the respected Vishwanathan sir has already presented. So I'm not going to, this is all overall for a research proposal flowchart. So how it should be, introduction, what, why, how. In the introduction, there should be emphasis, don't put copy and paste from previous article. It has to be narrative review. For example, I will tell you what is, but I think review of literature is a separate slide, so I am not going to go detailing. But remember, it should be narrative review. It cannot be copy and paste from previous abstract, because it has to go through plagiarism check. So put your idea. Suppose you want to do a study on maternal hypotension, effect of low dose norepinephrine infusion versus phenylephrine infusion in preventing maternal hypotension. So you collect study in such a way, previous literature in the last 5 years is most applicable for your protocol. Remember, it has to be 6 to 7 review literature number for your protocol, and it is to be very crisp. You should write previous study like maternal study showing norepinephrine infusion in preventing maternal hypotension. In that you should write this author, how they have conducted the study, have they used, how much dose they have used, in their word. It should be in your word in a narrative manner, and it should not exceed 300 words. Total review of literature for a first draft protocol. Remember, this is very important. So methodology in material and method basically here selection and access, human subjects, ethics statements. I am just show the flow chart. I'm just going to tell little of each slide. Then preliminary data, has the preliminary study done or not? If you before a final proposal, you have to have your pilot or preliminary study so that you can be confirmed. Yes, there is feasibility near future. Suppose you don't have the existing video laryngoscope and you have proposed a study on a newer video laryngoscope which is not available in India, and you can't do this preliminary study done, you can't write like that. So that's why preliminary study is very important. Statement of limitations and conclusion. Coming to title, it should be concise and descriptive, must be informative and catchy. Any name of the institution, number of cases to be studied should not be included in the title. The hypothesis to be studied can be included. For example, is it a correct title? I'll just put like that, study on low dose Dexmed infusion. It is my title. For my protocol, I am giving to my PG student. Prepare this protocol, put a title. This is not complete. What study? Is it a descriptive study on low dose Dexmed infusion? Is it a randomized control trial study? Is it a single center study, or it is a like what kind of study? Is it a randomized double blind control trial? What kind of study it is? It is not giving me any information. So if I want to complete this study, I can propose like that. Study randomized control or randomized clinical trial study on low dose Dexmed infusion versus low dose Gylopad infusion. I am just giving you example. In daycare laparoscopic gynecologic surgery. This has got some meaning. If this study, if I tell this is completely wrong, it will be rejected by the review committee itself before going to human ethical committee. Remember, your title should be very it should convey all the information. So introduction, it should have a well-written outline and stick to it. Write few sentences. It must be accurate, concise and specific. Try to answer this. What are the incidence and prevalence of a problem? Which geographical area is affected by the problem? Which population groups are affected by the problem? What are the findings of other research? What has been done to overcome the problem in the past? And what seems to be unanswered questions about the problem? The problem is the Dexmed infusion study has been conducted, but it has been conducted only in one group. The previous authors have not compared with other groups such as ketamine group, low dose ketamine infusion. Previous authors have not compared it they have not looked into the major laminectomy or spine surgery, lumbar laminectomy. So these are the things when you want to do, you want your study in future to be uploaded in a good journal. Try to find out what is not done, which can be done, and you do a preliminary feasibility study on this low dose Dexmed. Low dose Dexmed already approved infusion. For this drug review committee need not be, but some institute they ask for regulatory board to be review. So for this low dose Dexmed infusion, if already study is being done in laparoscopic surgeries, but you want to compare with other drug and already the other drug in the independent group has been compared, then there is no issue. You can compare these two drugs. So aims and objectives. Aims and objectives are not synonymous. Aim is intention or what you hope to achieve. Objective steps taken to achieve the aim. Objective should be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time constraint. The aim is about what you hope to do. Objectives are usually more than one. Remember, there is a one primary objectives and secondary objectives. There can't be two primary objectives. So always you should have objective more than one are the specific steps you will take to achieve your aim. An aim is therefore generally broad. It is ambitious but not beyond possibility. So the hypothesis, after aim and objective, I told you research question and hypothesis. When you perform a question, you don't know, you question. Is low dose Dexmed is as effective as low dose Gylopad? You don't know. So you put a question. But when you hypothesize, you put low dose dexmedetomidine is equally as effective as low dose Gylopad infusion in maintaining hemodynamic stability in daycare laparoscopic surgery. Should be the hypothesis. So there are two hypotheses. I am not going to detail. The null hypothesis, basically in research, we do null hypothesis, which is treatment. There is no actual relationship between variables. Whereas in alternative hypothesis is a statement that suggests a potential outcome that the researcher may expect. This hypothesis is derived from previous studies where an evident difference between the groups to be compared is present. It is recognized only when a null hypothesis is rejected. Practically, hypotheses are stated in the null form because they have their inferential statistics. Such hypothesis of no difference will be challenged by researchers, and result of the statistical testing gives the probability that hypothesis of no difference is true or false. What you are going to basically see, study subject like settings, your study population, who are the study subjects, whether they are young adult or elderly male, what is their characteristic age group, what ASA category they are. You should include the inclusion and exclusion criteria in bullet point. Inclusion and exclusion criteria must be written inside material and method, remember this. So your subjects, population, settings, inclusion and exclusion, followed by how, when, what kind of study you are going to do. So study can be what are the properties, characteristics of the study. Whether it is a descriptive study, whether it is an analytical study. Yesterday, Sir has elaborated, spoke about the analytical study division like randomized control trial, clinical trial is a higher version study. Whereas descriptive study, otherwise called as case series study, is one of the study. Then other studies are prospective or retrospective. In simply, you can have the type of studies like whether it is hypothesis creating, generating study, or hypothesis already generated and your hypothesis testing, whether it is a hypothesis generated like properly in before designing the study you put a flow chart table how you are going to do. I have already told, so I am just keeping because so review of literature already I had spoken, so I am just skip it. I have told you 300 word. And mostly you should look journals, national, international, bulletins of organizations like WHO, CDC and ICMR, books, computer assisted searches like Medline and personal community. See, your search review should be all these aspects. When you do a review search, it should be from PubMed search, Google Scholar search. Your search citation should be from our Wireline online library or Scopus. This search should be authenticated search so that you will not be in problem. I had already told you study characteristic, design type, descriptive, analytical, prospective, the way in which the study will be conducted, single center, double blind, placebo control, or randomized or non-randomized. Research design, whether the study is exploratory, descriptive, explanatory, predictive, hypothesis generating or testing, already I have told. So the suitable research design depends on the purpose of the study to determine the frequency of burden, cross-sectional survey and cohort studies incidence, to identify risk factor cohort study, to determine prognosis of a disease cohort study, to determine efficacy, effectiveness of a new treatment, that is clinical trial or community intervention, to evaluate community programs evaluation. So all this should be included in your methodology. What is a property of your study, how you are going to collect your sample, whether it is a continuous random sampling or purposive sampling or convenience sampling, what kind of sampling you are going to do, how the method of randomization, whether it is a like a computer generated number table or block randomization, this is very important. Then sampling procedure, sample size, data collection. Data when you are collecting, already Nagalingam has told, I am not going to data your manual, or there are certain apps is available in Apple phone, you can download and to avoid bias you can collect the data in a software, and after that you can assimilate the software, will calculate the like it will be like a pro forma, the data, it will analyze your data, you need not do manually. Now the software data is many people are adopting this, and prevalence and incidence, whether multivariate logistic. So already I have told you sample size should be clearly mentioned and reason for selecting such number of study to be clearly mentioned. Administrative, ethical and regulatory considerations, Declaration of Helsinki. This is the protection to human. This is very important at the final. Like a participant information sheet, and there are certain questions to be given to the participants. So that questions need to be answered by declaration of according to the standard Declaration of Helsinki. Then it goes to institutional review board, followed by institutional ethical committee after their comments. Then obligation of clinical investigators and good clinical practices. Good clinical practices means do no harm to your study participant. Then informed consent should be prepared in accordance with Declaration of Helsinki, already I have told you. International Council for Harmonization Good Clinical Practices. This is our institute consent form, not our, I think everybody, and it has to be converted in both English and Tamil consent. Name of the participant, I have understood the details about the study. I know the possible risk and benefit time without assigning any reason. I understand that I will not get any payment for taking part in this study. I will not object if the results of this study is getting published in any medical journals provided my personal identity is not revealed. I know what I am supposed to do by taking part in this study, and I assure that I will give my full cooperation, my operation theatre or in a perioperative area, wherever. You need to have a consent form signed by the adult patient. If the patient is below 18 years of age, the consent has to be signed by the concerned attendant or guardian who is responsible for taking care of the patient. So these are the this is the template for consent form. Then references cited in the protocol should be listed properly according to Vancouver style. Usually we follow Vancouver style. Supplemental documents such as data collection form, that is pro forma form, surveys, questionnaires should be included in the protocol. This is the checklist. Title, introduction, including background rationale, research question, aims and objectives, hypothesis, review of literature, materials and methods, references, list of collaboration or help from consultants. You have a collaborative study, you have to mention your list of collaboration and funding or budget. Then annexure. I'll go to the detailed annexure. This is the informed consent form, letters from ethics committee, study questionnaire, case record forms, otherwise called pro forma forms, budget details, CV of the chief investigator and their role in the study. Not only chief, they are asking all the co-investigators CV, like I am a guide, I have co-guide. So each of us has to fill up our proper CV and submit before final ethical committee approval. These are my references, and my most of the references from recent 2021 video lecture from Basic Biomedical Research, ICMR statistics. If time permits, I can first submission, before first submission to IHC, it goes to the scientific review committee, and then after scientific review committee, they will put some comments. After that, you have to correct those. After that, it will be in 3 versions. Then general information, your candidate name, course of the study, university identity number, mobile phone, email address. Can you just scroll down? It's not getting, yeah. So this is the checklist which I was showing you. All this checklist you have to see each page, data preliminary review, source of funding, adequate literature review with justification, detailed description about methodology, no mirror statement in inclusion or exclusion criteria. Method that will be like age less than 18 in inclusion and age greater than 18. And for example, you are putting inclusion as elective surgeries included. Obviously exclusion is non-elective surgery. So you should not put like that, mirror images. That is very important, remember. So for analytical and then randomized trial method that will be used to generate the random allocation sequence. Just this is a, can you just scroll down? It is not getting here because of, yeah, this is full, whatever I have told, it is all in the checklist, that's all. Yeah. The same thing, it is in the part 2 of the protocol, where the candidate is right to write the introduction in that column, aims and objectives, review of literature, then research questions, subjects and methods. Use a flow chart to summarize. I told you after method a flow chart is must. If it is observational study, whatever study you do, please put a flow chart and put your study variables with appropriate statistical measures. What statistical test you are going to use. Then references. Preliminary work done already? Yes. If you have to do yes. If no, then you have to justify of when you are going to do or what is your like you are planning to purchase a newer video laryngoscope which is coming soon, and you are pretty sure one study already been conducted. In that case, sir, we are assuring within 1 month we are going to do this study. You can tell that if preliminary work not done on that newer video laryngoscope, but already one study already being published, only one study in India or wherever journal, but you are going to procure that, then in that case it may create a problem. So you have to justify very confidently and appropriately. Then informed consent procedure, quality control, sponsorships, declaration. This is the declaration final with your primary guide. Guide has to sign. This is the declaration. This is very important form. That's all. Okay. This is a participant information sheet. I told you numerous questions will be there in the participant. Can you just scroll down? Yeah. Why I am being considered as one of the participants? Here only, see, after everything they go through, here only they will check you. Remember, in ethical committee, this information sheet goes even if you are a very expert guide or you have 200 or 1000 publications. This participant information sheet keeps on updating every year, and they create lot of, like, each step they ask, madam, this you correct, number 11 you correct, number 12 you correct. So each sheet you have to thoroughly go through and convert into your Tamil translation. Will I be paid for participating study? Will my participating in this study, my personal details will be kept confidentially? Can I withdraw from the study at any time this study period? Possible current and future uses of the biological material to be generated from the research. Scroll down. It's finished. Fine. Thank you, sir. These are all 15 questions.